Alright folks, it's been a while, but it's time to get back on that remelt wagon. Got a nice package from my friends over in Texas, Bass Boats and Beyond, another YouTuber. Go ahead and check them out. He does a lot of fishing for types of fish that I haven't caught really, like catfish and carp and stuff. I would love to catch a carp on a hook, because I've seen a lot of big carp. And I've shot carp before. I'm gonna drop my phone, but I've never caught one on a hook. That would be pretty cool. But so he sent me this stuff. Bunch of pretty good colors. I'm actually liking this little setup. These are perfect little bluegill colors. Too bad I can't. There's not enough of any of these ones or any of these one colors to make, you know, enough to make a swim bait or anything. But if I can find some light colors in this, stump this out, maybe we can. So we'll go through all of this. Oh, I kind of like that little minnow. I wonder where I got that. All right, and we'll separate all these colors out, and then I'll get back to you guys. And all right, so I've got my colors separated. To get these out of here, I was doing some other baits earlier with some new plastic for a customer. And now, so what I've done is I take every color that you can see through pretty well. I put that together. I'm not necessarily worried too much about the color itself. I'm mostly looking for the clarity of the plastic. And then I put all the blacks together and all our fluorescent colors together. And I found that it's better to put the clarities together instead of the colors, because it doesn't always necessarily mean, you know, you can't adapt a color that, even though this is a light color, it's so opaque and you cannot see anything. If you add flake to this after it's been melted, you're not going to see it. So I keep that together with other colors that are going to be like that as well. So that's why I put, like, these cream whites are the same thing. You're not going to be able to see any flake in that. So I put all that kind of stuff together. This brown, you can't see it. As you put it up to the light, you don't see through it very well. So we keep those together. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna make them a couple of puds, because that's what I was already doing tonight. So I'm just gonna keep rolling on that, and going to start with this color, this clear color, and heat it up and see what it looks like, and see if it's clear enough that we could do a nice skin coat on this. Let's check it out. Okay, now it's pretty hot. Give her a nice little stir. And we'll try to do a skin pour on this. Oop. Alright, got it in there. Let that dry and see what it looks like. Okay, so I changed cameras and didn't like the way that one was working. So we got this skin color on here. Looks pretty good. It's kind of dark. You can see up here, it's pretty dark orangish, like kind of a pumpkin color. So I think that it would be pretty cool, and you could see a pretty big difference under this color if you did one part very bright and one part very dark. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get the fluorescent colors going. I'm gonna pour that on the bottom, and then on top of that I'm gonna pour the black, and we're gonna see what that looks like. Okay, the fluorescents are starting to melt. We can start mixing them together and see what they're gonna look like. It's just coming out to be a pretty pinkish orange. I thought that the chartreuse would come through a little bit more, but it doesn't seem to be. So I think I'm gonna throw a bunch of this white in there, try to lighten it up, because I want a light color, one light color at least, because I have a black and then also this bluegill color turned out to be pretty darkish. It's a greenish brown, so put all this lighter color in here. All right, so some of this white started to melt. Starting to lighten this up into kind of a pink, at least a light enough color that we can start to manipulate it a little bit with our own dyes and turn it into something that we want. So I think one more heat up and it'll be ready to start trying to change that color a little bit. All right, so this stuff is pretty close to being ready to pour. We're going to do a couple things to it to try and make it into a more desirable color. I'm going to take this chartreuse, shake it up first, get it in there, see if we can lighten this up a lot. The second thing we're going to do is add some green pearl, quite a bit actually. So I really want this to shine underneath that skin. You really want something with a lot of pearl in it. So you can see adding that green pearl gives it a nice little sheen. And it should make it a little bit more visible, give it some more pop underneath that skin color. Okay, got it heated up, and it's to a color that I think I like. So we're gonna pour this and only go up to about the hook slot. Just cover it up. And that's it. Now we move on to the next color. Alright, all of his blacks melted down, and they are going in right now. So we'll pour this final layer and see what she looks like. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, I don't think that turned out too bad. That's a nice little swim bait right there. Take a look at it in the light. I like that. It's a good one. Alright, so I've done a run of 6 of these bad boys now. So we can go ahead and take a look at them and see what we think. Got some green, got some little bit of pumpkin, and then kind of turns back into the little greenish brown on the bottom. They all look pretty similar. And 100% remelted stuff. So, came out looking pretty good. I'm going to take the rest of the stuff because our black got pretty low. It's pretty low right there. Our skin pour color is pretty low. So once it gets that low, it's really hard to reheat it in the microwave, because of the way that a microwave works. When you don't have that much of the material in there, it's hard to get it to heat up to the right temperature so that it melts. So at this point, I'm going to take these two colors and I'm going to take them out of there and put them into this color so that we have one color that has enough in it that we can heat it up correctly And I'm gonna put those together and see what it looks like, and we're gonna pour a couple of those just solid colors. So I'll tune you guys in on that. All right, got it all heated up. Kind of a little brownish green, not a bad color. I think I'm gonna add something. I think I'm gonna add some more green to it though. Make it a little bit more greenish, a little bit more pearly. I think that that will be helpful. I'll also add some of my liquid MF plastic color to that. And then at the same time add my green pearl. And those two together make a really nice green, because the pearl green that I have kind of comes out bluish, but when you put it with that MF green, it really pops. Alright, got it all mixed up, looking pretty nice and green, nice and fishy. So I'll go ahead and pour it in there and see what it looks like. Alright, let's see what this one looks like. Not bad for a solid color coming out of all that stuff. I think that one doesn't look too fancy, but it'll sure catch some fish. Alright. Put that one away. Alright, here's what we ended up with, melting all those tubes together. I think I would like to add some of this blue to it, just to change it up a little bit, because we got that green and we got this, it's pretty green. So I'm gonna make them a little bit different before we shoot them together as a laminate, so you can actually tell that it's a two-color laminate. Alright, got both colors heated up. Suck them out of here. I got no better shoot. Alright, let's open her up. Well, that doesn't look quite right. This was supposed to be the purplish side, but that tube blend did not push in. So you could see it's all green on this side, and it's all green on this side. So they're not bad, but the two different densities of that plastic did not allow it to laminate together correctly. So we're gonna have to do these separately. I like the color though, and we're gonna keep this shot. Alright, so I just poured one with this tube blend. I missed it, but it went in there pretty well. So we're gonna see how this turns out. Alright, while I'm waiting for those to cool down, or for that swim bait to cool down, I am going to be heating up all these little fluorescent jigs, little crappie jigs that he had, in this smaller jar, so that they should be able to heat up better. And we're going to see what kind of color that looks like, and see if we can add that to something. Okay, so I've got this solid color out from the tubes on this pud, and it's a pretty nice color. I'm going to pull it out, and we're going to see what the action kind of feels like. It feels pretty stiff, but I think it'll still swim pretty well. Look at the way that that tail moves. And there's the fluorescents are done now. Alright, so after all that with the fluorescent, we get a tiny little bit. So we're gonna have to find somewhere to be able to put that stuff. Added the fluorescent to this green because it's not really enough to be able to do anything with unless I add it to this. And we're going to use this to shoot a couple of Ned rigs for Bass Boats and Beyond, and then we will be all done with their remelts and we'll be ready to send them off to them back to Texas. Alright, so it was actually about a week later. The smoke came through on a nearby fire and kind of pushed us out. So here's what I've made out of Bass Boats and Beyond's remelts. Got a 12 of these epic puds that I made, and about, what is it, 16 to 20 of these Neds. I was going to make him some kind of more finessey worms, but the plastic that I was given is a little bit too firm for that, so we went with all Ned rigs and swim baits for this. I'm going to have one that I'm going to send them that's already rigged up with the right hook so that there's no confusion there, because sometimes it took me a couple of tries, a couple of different hooks. I also did a couple of baits where I got an airbrush, and I did a little bit of airbrushing there. You can see the bottom of that, it's a little bit pink. Where's another one that I did? That one, same thing. And this one, I got some orange and kind of highlighted the fins and the front a little bit, just to try that out. So getting into the airbrushing, and I also did some of the Ned rigs a little bit. I'm gonna package these up and send them back to him, and that's it. All right, everything is packaged up. Got them 3 packages of swim baits and one really nice big package and one medium-sized package of Ned rigs, and that all came from Remelted Baits. So I'm going to send this back to Noah at Bass Boats and Beyond, based out of Texas. Check out his YouTube channel. Him and I started channels around the same time. He's one of the first people that I really interacted with, and that really interacted with me. And I've kind of got to know him a little bit just over the internet, and he seems like a good guy. And I really appreciate you going and checking out his channel, giving him a couple likes or a subscribe, and also doing that to mine. I'll see you guys on the next one.